Hey guys, it's Ryan here with dpmarketing.services. Hope you're doing well. Coming at you with the video. Okay, if you watch our channel, if you watch our videos, you know we work with HVAC and plumbing contractors all across the United States. We've got companies in Canada. We do this, and we notice that after we've been working with these companies for a while, they're contractors. They start growing. They get more calls. They get to hire more guys. So they get more vans in the field. So we found that this is true if you have 5 vans or if you have 15 vans. It doesn't matter. You can have 50 vans. The problems are the same, which is, especially if you're in the United States, you know that there is a difficulty in hiring good techs can do good service. And if you're a small shop, right, if you're just one truck or two trucks, like you probably don't really have these issues. But the companies we work with who are growing, they notice them a lot. So what turns into something is that, like, when we do our job well, we help maximize the phone calls, right? We want to make sure the marketing's functioning well, that all the leads are coming in, that everything's functioning as efficiently as possible, and you have a good steady stream of leads coming in, day out, that you can keep your guys busy and keep the vans going. Everyone's happy. But the real question comes into is, how do we find people that can do the great work that you need? How can you hire the right techs? How can you get the right guys you need doing the work that are touching the customers? And you know, if you've been in business for a while, especially if you're a larger shop, this is really hard. Generally speaking, there's a couple companies who do a lot with this. There's a couple on both coasts who do a lot of training. They invest in their guys, they give them schooling and education, and so they come out and they do things their way. A lot of franchises, like if you're a franchiser, you know you might have a certain process and protocol. But if you're an independent shop, you might not have all those tools or all those resources. So let's say you have 10 vans running, and you're still growing. The challenge is, how do you find the guys who can do the work you need and the way you need it done, who have your kind of customer focus in mind, and who can help keep your company moving forward? Because you know, when you make a wrong hire like that, it can ruin your company's growth. It costs you more money. It creates bad customer reviews. It can be very, very bad. So first off, let me ask this. I'm curious to know, and leave a comment below. Like, how do you, at your company, how do you guys solve this problem? Generally speaking, you're going to have two different ways, right? You're going to go hire techs. Sometimes you'll hire them from other companies or do something like that. There's pros and cons of that. So obviously, if you do that, you're going to be getting guys who are well trained. They might have all the right schooling and all the right certificates you need. But there's also a downside. So this way, right, just hiring a tech is obviously, it's probably going to be easier to do. And I say it to go. I know a lot of guys we talk to, they struggle finding guys because maybe they're just out of trade school and they want, you know, $35, $45 an hour and 4 weeks paid vacation. And, like, you know, these guys have never ever sold a single job, and yet they're throwing their weight around. So we know it's a real problem, right? We get it. But if money was no object, you can go and you could hire these guys from other companies. Guys that are already trained, they already have the licenses, they might even have customers who they like. The downside of doing this, though, is two real things. One, it's going to be expensive. If your money is like not short on cash, if cash flow is fine and you can spare the extra cash, it might be the smart way to go. The downside is, you're going to be taking people who don't quite fit with your company culture. Now, this sounds weird to talk about. People don't really think about culture, especially contractors, as part of the companies until you get to like the much larger companies where those things become more obvious. But let me use like a quick metaphor. So let's pretend that you go to a nice restaurant, steakhouse. So let's pretend you go to a nice steakhouse. Let's say it's a $70 or $80 steak place. You order your cut of meat, you're waiting for it, you're drinking your scotch, your wine, or whatever, and then all of a sudden, they come out and they serve your steak that you've been waiting for, and great steak, but let's say that the plate is dirty, right? Like maybe it didn't get washed right, or somebody sneezed on it, or whatever, gross, doesn't matter. Instantly, that cut of meat that you've been waiting for and craving is now devalued. It's not worth anything that you're hoping for, and you're probably going to send that steak back to the kitchen and ask for another steak because there's no way you're going to be eating your $70 or $80 steak on a dirty plate from someone else that wasn't cleaned. That's a lot like what your culture is for your business. You can hire the best tech with the right qualifications and all the best training, but as soon as he comes over to your business, it's now a different culture. And so, guess what? If the shop that he was at was toxic, if there's a lot of politics, if there's a lot of infighting, if there's a lot of drama, that tech is going to bring all that crap over to your business. You now have a nice steak with a dirty plate. It's going to end badly. So, not only do you pay a lot for this guy, but it's really risky on the culture. Now, another strategy, we're trying to figure out how to do this well for shops that don't have like these massive universities that are part of their training program, is how can we attract the right types of people and then actually grow them to be the techs we need. So arguably this is a slower strategy, this is a longer distance plan, but the idea is essentially this. Instead of focusing on hiring somebody now and paying a lot of money now for a guy who might have the skills but maybe is on a dirty plate, maybe let's find people who are clean plates. They might not have the experience, but maybe they have the work ethic. Maybe they have the drive. Maybe they're good with taking care of customers and people. So they have all the right pieces. You just got to teach them the skills. And so at that point, then it's a matter of putting all the jobs you'd possibly do into a training manual, walking them through all the steps, having that apprentice follow on with the journeyman for a while, having them sign off on every job they do. Heck, send them to night school. Send them to classes, let them get all their hours in school on your dime. Pay for them to go to school. Here's the upside with this. At this point, you're going to be finding the right people and you're going to be teaching them the right skills. So you know that these people are going to have what it takes because you're going to tell them what it takes to succeed. But you're not going to be working with any cultural stuff. You know that stuff's right. It's just you're just helping them get the schools they need. The downside is it's going to take longer. Arguably, you might have a better result at the end, but it's going to take you longer to get those people who are at that point fully trained, fully competent, and capable of doing anything you need them to do. Now, some of you guys are going, well, why would I do that? Why would I spend all that time and all that money wasting and try to help people just so another company can hire them off? So there's a quote that gets thrown around a lot, which is, it's a fair concern you have, but let me ask you this. Instead of asking yourself, what happens if you spend all this money and all this time training your guys and then they leave? What happens if you don't train the guys and they stay? Which one to you is worse? Is it spending the time, spending the money, growing the techs you need and then they leave? Or is it worse that you don't train the techs, you don't develop the guys, and then they stay? I would argue that for most shops we talk to, growing the guys, investing in their development, investing in their training, investing in their schooling, paying the long game, it's harder, it's slower, but it will help create this longer culture, this more healthy culture, this better company that ultimately is what you're looking for. That's going to get the right guys at the right time in the right places. Yeah, you're going to be playing a long game. It's not going to be fast returns, but the argument I would make is that you're probably going to see better results. But that said, I'd like to hear from you. So if you're a 10, 20, 30 truck shop, I'd like to hear from you on what do you guys do when you're training your guys? How do you hire? How do you grow your team? If you're a smaller shop watching these videos, then take notes of what these guys who are bigger than you are saying, because we'd love to hear from you. But we know it's a problem everyone has. Every growing shop who's looking for more techs has the same problem. So the more we can help you solve that problem, the better we can do our job and give you more leads, knowing you guys can service them. So that's it for today. Hope this was interesting and helpful. Would love to hear your thoughts. Leave us a comment below. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And we'll see you next time.